Right guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. In this one I'm just going to be showing you how to change your rear wheel bearings in your prime rear wheel. So that's a disc rear wheel, so it uses a centre lock disc. So I'll go ahead, I'll show you how to change out the two wheel bearings. Right, so here we have the wheel in question. As you can see, this just happens to be a prime BlackEdition carbon rear wheel. Now, as you can see, it's disc, centre lock disc, freer body there. So the first job we want to do is remove the freer body and the axle so we can get access to the two wheel bearings, one either side. So what you need to do to start with is get yourself a couple of 17mm spanners, so two of those, and then what you want to do is place one on the flat there on this side like that, and then put one on the flat on the other side. Then what you want to do is just hold on to this side, just keep in the same place, and then just undo the non-drive side, the disc side. So we'll just undo that. And once you've undone it, you can just keep hold of this side and then just keep threading the cap off the end like so till it's removed. Then what you can do is just pull out your axle with the freer body like that, and then we gain access to the bearings. You can see you've got one in there and then one on the this side. Now if you've never had yours apart before and you ride in the wet, or you wash your bike with a hose pipe like many people do, then if you've never touched them before, then it's worth checking the bearings to make sure that they are in good working order. Because if they're not, then you're wasting your time having a set of carbon wheels when the bearings aren't no good. So what you want to do is just check them, make sure they spin nice. If they don't, they're gravelly, they feel notchy in any way. When you turn them, you can put them on your finger and spin the wheel, just check it on both sides, then they do with replacing. So now's the time to do it. So what I'll do, I'll show you how to get those bearings out. Right, so next stage is, if you look down inside the hub, you see there's a metal collar in there, sleeve between the two bearings. Now what you need to do with that is just, it moves left, right, up, down, and all you do is get something soft or plastic, not metal. Don't put a screwdriver in there and lever it out of the way, because if you put a burr on it in any way, then when you go to put the axle back through, it won't go back through properly because you put a mark on it. So use something like the end of a screwdriver, plastic. You can just move it up out the way. As you can see now, it's off, the collar in there's off centre, just there, as you can see. And by doing that, moving it out the way, then when you look down the middle of the hub, you can see a piece of the bearing, the inner race of the bearing, so here on the opposite side, sticking out. So then a punch just rests against that. So all you do is rest it against there and then tap it, and then move the collar out the way again to the opposite side, and then give it a tap that side and keep on doing that. Alternate left, right, up, down. Never hit it in the same place, because you'll hit it out crooked, you damage the hub. So you just go round doing that, hitting the punch with the hammer and keep moving it, and as the bearing slowly comes out, the collar will just go completely loose in the middle, so you won't have to worry about it. But initially you just have to keep moving it left, right, up, down and then hitting round with your punch on the bearing. So I'll hit it out from the drive side to the non-drive side. So I'll hit the disc side out first, but I'll show you that. Right, so what we've got is a block of wood, like so, putting it on a hard surface to start with. So you want it on a nice hard solid surface, and then I'll just place the wheel on the block of wood like so, and I can start tapping it through. So I'll just put that on there. Now I'll get the punch. I'll lift that up, and there you have the sleeve in the middle, the collar, and there you have the bearing from the disc side, as you can see. So what I'll do is we'll just put that on opposite way up. And now the collar's obviously not in the wheel now, so you can just see the wheel bearing down through the middle. So there you have the bearing from the, what is the free hub side there. So now all you got to do now is clean up, bit of degreaser, just clean up around where the bearings are going to sit, make sure that's all nice and clean before you go ahead and reinstall them. Now I'm showing you this using a block of wood, a punch on the floor, to keep it simple. Now if you've got a vise, you can rest that on top of a vise, you can do it like that and knock it through. So it's up to you, but I'm just showing you all you need is a block of wood. There's nothing to it, a block of wood, a couple of punches and a hammer. Just simple basic tools to do the job. So that's why I'm showing you it like this. I could do it another way. I could get out some bearing tools, I could put it in a vise, I could do it that way, but I'm showing you this like this so as you can do the job at home with basic tools. So I'll go ahead, I'll get this cleaned up and then we'll reinstall them. Right, so we got the inside of the hub all cleaned out. Now what you want to do is, with your bearings, now always use quality bearings, quality manufacturer, well-known manufacturer makes for the bearings. Don't skimp on them, never put cheap ones in because it's false economy. They won't last nowhere near as long as a good quality bearing. So always use quality manufacturers. Now what you want to do is, first of all, is get some grease on a brush and just put round where the bearing's going to sit in the actual hub. So if you do that, I'll start on the free hub side. So you put some grease around there, and then with your actual bearing, just put some grease around the outside of the bearing, like so. And just put a light coat over, if you're going to put it down inside the hub like so, on the seal that's going to be inside that you don't see, just put some grease over that. It just helps keep the water out the bearing, like so. And then you can just drop it in your put it on your finger and just lower it into place like that. Just sit it there, and then what you want to do, hit the bearing in. Obviously we use a punch to remove it, but when you're putting new bearings in, what you want to do is get yourself a 19mm socket like so. See, this is a longer drive, deep drive socket, and then this socket then fits over the bearing like that perfectly, matches the size. So as you're not hitting, never hit where the seal is on a bearing, because you'll ruin it before you've even put it in. So you need to hit on the outer edge, the actual race there on the outside. So what you want to do is make sure that the bearing to start with is square in there. It's not in an angle anyway. Otherwise when you start hitting it in, if it goes in an angle, then it's no good. You've got to go in nice and squarely. So once it's square there, you can just push it around your finger, make sure it's level. Once it's level, then you can gently tap it in. So you just want to get it started, it's no just whacking it with a hammer. You just gently tap it round and make sure it's going in. Square. And you can carry on tapping it round until it starts to go in. So once it's started going in, you can just carry on tapping it down through until it stops. Once it gets into position, it doesn't take a lot of hitting. You don't need to hit it hard, you're just tapping it round. So there we have the bearing installed on the drive side. So I'll go ahead and we'll get the non-drive side one in. Right, so I've got the wheel flipped over and we're now on the disc side. So what you want to do first is just get some grease again and put around where the bearing's going to sit. So we put some in there like that, and then with your collar that went in between the two bearings, spacer there, just put some grease on the side that's going to go down in on the end there like that. And that just helps it when you lower it down on your finger. You want to get it so as it's sat on the inner race of the bearing that you just put in, so as when you look down you can see straight through to the block of wood and it's lined up with the bearing that you just put in. So get that sat in there. You might have to fiddle around with it, but you want to get it so as it's in there where it should be. Then just go ahead, get your bearing again, put some grease round the outer edge of that, and again the side that's going to go inside the hub, just put some grease on the seal on that as well, just to help keep the water out from the inside, what you don't see, but water still gets in there, so it's worth putting a bit of grease on it. And then we can just lower that in place with your finger again. Get it sat there, and then again using your 19mm socket, rest it over it and start it off. so as it's going in nice and square, it's not going in crooked. Once you got it like that, you can carry on tapping round and tapping it down in. Right, so there's the bearing all the way in. And now what you want to do is make sure, just check inside that the collar inside the spacer there is lined up with both bearings. If it's not and it just needs a tweak, then get something soft again, not the end of a screwdriver, the handle end. Then you can just move it if it needs, left or right, up or down, just so it lines it back up, so when you look through it's going nice and straight through, so when you put your axle back in you know it's going to go through. Right, 1, 2, 3. So before putting the axle back through, what you want to do is just put some grease over the actual axle itself, like so. A little bit over the threads on the end, so like so. Now you can go ahead, and if you got it lined up, you should just be able to put the axle straight back through, no resistance, it should just go in easily. Push it all the way in, like so. Now you can turn it round. What you want to do on this side, the cap that come off, just put some grease just on the end there, like so, a little bit on the inside, and then just get hold of the wheel, just hold the free hub side, and you can just thread this back on clockwise till it stops, and then using your 2 spanners again, your 17mm, you can just hold the drive side, the free hub body side, and then just nip up this side like so. Just nip that down. No point tightening it right up hard, you're only nipping it up. And then just check that your axle moves okay, like that. And then just spin the wheel, make sure it's all good. Right, so there's the end of the video. So I hope you found it helpful. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Till next one, ride safe and I'll see you then.